let's welcome on board Abhijit Choksi as well. He's joining us from stockfit.in. Thanks so much for joining us today, Abhijit. Just wanted to begin by asking you, in terms of the result reactions that we have seen of late, whether it's Federal Bank today, the South Indian Bank number, the other names as well from the entire, the stock equity kind of ecosystem, the KFin technologies of the world. Anything that stood out to you specifically from financials and stock market ancillaries?
So I'm betting mainly on PSU banks. I believe even though there's a lot of buzz that PSU banks have been done with their rally, I believe banks like SBI, PNB will continue its rally going forward. I'm expecting numbers improving of these PSU banks. I'm general bullish on PSU sector and specifically want to focus on banks. PNB and SBI are my picks.
But since you're talking about PSUs, my colleague did have a word with the Oil and Petroleum Minister, Mr. Hardeep Singh Puri, and they talked about how, of course, the politics is shaping up as well, but how India is actually dealing with the volatility that we have seen in the crude prices, because, of course, overnight itself, we had seen a dip of almost 3%, which took crude down to the 7-week low level. Let's listen into a slice of that conversation.
We're embarking on the campaign trail shoot with Union Minister Hardeep Puri, who's currently in Gujarat supporting BJP candidates in Rajkot and Porbandar. Over the next 12 hours, we'll delve into discussions not only about the BJP's prospects in the parliamentary election, but also about developments within the ministry he oversees.
How is the Josh? Josh is total. I attended a meeting last night with my friend and our candidate for Porbandar, Dr. Mansukh Mandavia. There were 1,000 people associated with commerce and industry. And it's total. I think that in Gujarat, in any case, you're looking at another very impressive performance. When I say impressive, another, because Gujarat for a long time has been very solidly for BJP. But I've been in Coimbatore, I've been in Palakkad, I have traveled to Calcutta. I see a groundswell of support even in areas where the BJP was traditionally not present. Right. And I mean particularly the southern states.
Along with that, let's discuss about the manifesto thing, the BJP and Congress manifesto. At one hand, Congress manifesto talks about guaranteed job to every graduate, rupees 1 lakh into the bank account of every woman. At the same time, BJP manifesto is silent about the big bank promises.
No, because the Congress manifesto is not realistic. I mean, all Congress-run states are bankrupt.
But the Congress and the opposition parties are saying you...
No, it's not correct. We are not overconfident. All the BJP schemes, 4 crore हमने आवास बनाया. Our manifesto says 3 crore more.
Right.
Okay? Ayushman Bharat, which is a brilliant scheme, we will widen it. Our other schemes, for instance, Ayushman coverage, we will give to people over the age of 70 also. So those are the positive thing. And there's a very basic difference between giving somebody fish to eat and teaching the person how to fish.
BJP manifesto is full of the agenda which called Developed India by 2047. But the Congress is saying that it's a tactic to run away from the current responsibility.
Running away from which problem? We have made 4 crore प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना हमने सैंक्शन किया. 4 करोड़. हमारी मेट्रो लाइन जो थी 240 किलोमीटर थी 2014 में, आज 945 किलोमीटर है. 950 किलोमीटर और बन रही है. हमारे जो युवा हैं, अब स्टील इंडस्ट्री देखिए, आप कंस्ट्रक्शन इंडस्ट्री देखिए. मेरा आंकड़ा नहीं है, मैकेंजी का है. वी आर बिल्डिंग बिटवीन 700 and 900 million square meters of urban space every year. Is this employment generating or not?
Allow me to ask one hypothetical question.
Okay, that's the campaign trail, which you can continue catching here on the channel. But Titan Britannia, both those companies are going to be reporting their quarterly numbers just tomorrow, apart from, of course, a plethora of, mid-cap earnings as well, which are expected. Kunal, just a couple of charts. Trent, which I guess has made another high today, has it?
Yes, it has.
And the other one, Titan.
So Trent, of course, after the result on Friday or last week rather, or start of this week, the stock has done pretty well. I think it's moved on, from a level of 4,200, which was a bit of a consolidative phase for Trent, to now 4,700 plus mark, which means it's a stock which is now moving up higher in terms of supports. So I think now we could probably keep that 2-day, 3-day swing low around 4,200 odd as a key short-term support for Trent, and look for higher levels on the upside. Titan could be interesting because so far the stock is actually showing signs of weakness. In the last 2 weeks or so, I think the stock had fallen down from 3,850 mark to 3,570. It's still making a pattern of lower highs and lower lows. Interestingly, the first resistance for the stock is at 3,650 mark, which is around 2%, 3% higher from current level. So we'll wait out for a point when the stock breaks past about the 3,650 levels to go for a contraband Titan. But as of now, the charts look a bit more weaker or sluggish for Titan.
Okay, so that's about Titan, the charts. We'll get Vinny shortly. But before that, Abhijit, I wanted your take regarding the real estate pack as a whole. Max Estates right now is higher by what, 15% I think almost, with the kind of investment coming in there. Raymond, of course, is higher by 10%. You saw that move on Century Textile as well, which has a large part of real estate being part of the SOTP as well. Within the real estate pack, is there any name where there's still value on the table, or do you think all of them have actually run up quite a bit? And even Godrej Properties, because it's giving you a bit of a dip today.
So generally, real estate is considered that whenever a bull market cycle starts, real estate and proxy gives a good indication. Out of the whole pack, I believe Godrej would be a good compounder going forward. Godrej Properties something can be also an SIP stock where slowly you can accumulate for next 5 to 7 years kind of horizon.
Okay, that's the take coming in on the realty pack right now. Let's take it across now to Vinny and try and understand what to pencil in from Titan numbers, and of course Britannia as well, which is going to report its numbers tomorrow too.
So yes, in terms of the jewelry retailer Titan, we are expecting around 11% growth in terms of revenues, profits 8.2% growth, while margins expected to see a slight bit of an expansion of 11.4%. But what's key and what we'll watch out for is also in terms of gold prices. How is that shaping up? Any impact in terms of demand there? Because we saw a sharp rise in terms of the gold prices. So yes, expecting a high double-digit growth in terms of value mainly, and this is despite the gold prices so far. So that's interesting to watch out for in terms of commentary. Margins expect to see a slight bit of a marginal growth, and this is mainly due to the increased salience that we're seeing of the low margin gold jewelry, and other than that, jewelry EBIT margin that could be a bit subdued. That's what we're watching out for. New growth engines are key factors to watch out for. Carrot Lane, especially in terms of how is the growth there, as well as volumes that are likely to be a bit of an impact that we could see going forward in terms of a commentary that we're keeping an eye out on. Though in terms of Q4 update, they've said jewelry business will see a 19% growth, which accounts to around 80% of their business. Watches expected to see a 7% growth. And overall, the company said the overall revenue growth is also expected to be strong, and 86 stores is what is there that they were added during this quarter. So key factors to watch out for in terms of that is the demand trend outlook, gold price outlook, as well as sustainability in terms of volume growth, and new growth engines, how are they performing, are key factors to watch out for. So yes, in terms of the biscuit maker Britannia, we're expecting around 3% growth in terms of the revenues of the company. Profits are expected to be subdued, while in terms of the operational performance also, we're expecting a bit of a subduedness and a contraction of around 100 basis points in terms of the margins of the company. Now yes, what is impacting the gross margins of the company, the EBITDA margins of the company, is that gross margins mainly because of price cuts, higher grammage offset. That is something that is offsetting the impact of the softer commodity prices. So let's keep an eye out on the margins factor specifically, and commentary that will come in terms of the raw material prices as well as in terms of margin outlook. Also, let's not forget that margin decline this time, and EBITDA margin decline, is because last year there was a bit of a one-off that we had seen in terms of the PLI benefit they had received. So yes, because of that we're seeing an EBITDA margin decline. Volume growth is expected to come in at 5%, so watching out for that. Keep an eye out in terms of commentary on rural, the Hind belt, how is that doing, domestic market share, what are the trends there. Competition from the local players and regional players is a key factor to watch out for, and obviously commodity prices like I mentioned before as well. Any commentary on that is something we're watching out for.
Right, okay, that is the expectation from both Titan as well as Britannia. But Abhijit, we were just chatting with the, Dabur management as well, and very categorical in stating that they are seeing green shoots of rural recovery actually take place. The stock, of course, also jumped up a good 3.5% post the numbers in the commentary. Do you think perhaps now is the time to bet on some of these rural plays, because perhaps the alpha generation is going to be much bigger there? They've been underperforming for quite some time now.
Yeah, so Dabur and such companies are always have been defensive in stock portfolio. So such companies, I would rather consider it as more like, step up and slowly you add those on every dips on the portfolio. Rather, what sectors I'm liking is specifically power sector, and that also PSU power sector. So companies like SJVN, NTPC, NHPC, those are something which is really, I see a good earnings growth coming in these sector going forward, and especially ports and shipping sector as well. Like India is blessed with almost 7,500 kilometers of the coastal line, and the Indian government is now focusing on investing almost 10 lakh crore rupees in the ports and shipping sector. So my pick in that sector would be GPPL, which I believe has a tremendous potential going forward, and even Container Corp. So both these picks can be good for long-term investor for next 1 to 2 year horizon.
Right, okay. Those are some of the ideas coming in that Abhijit is bearing on. RDC, PFC, the strength there continues. HPBP as well, holding out very smartly. In fact, Naresh, let's take your call on where you headed, where you see some of these OMCs headed. Both the charts of HPBP looking fabulous today.
So the longer term charts are extremely positive. So if you look at it, Hindustan Petroleum, the stock had earlier topped out around 500 back in 2017, and it's come above those levels, went up to 600, did a retest of 450, 500, and is slowly and steadily setting up for a bigger structural move. Same is the case with BPCL. If you go back to 2017, 2019, the top was 550. So we are holding on above the 550 mark. In the recent dip also, it did not correct below 570. So structurally, I would expect OMCs to again make new all-time highs and slowly and steadily head higher. So it remains a buy on dip as a sector.
Dip, that's the word coming in on all marketing companies, but Atul Auto is the other stock which has been doing very well. It's up 13%. We did have a chat with the management earlier. We visited their plant to figure out what the next course of action is for the management and the company. Here are a bite of that conversation. Okay, we'll try and get that bite as well. But in the meantime, Abhijit, what's your take on the likes of Atul Auto, if you track that one?
Yeah, auto ancillary will also do well. Atul Auto specifically, I'm not tracking, but in the auto ancillary space, I'm liking Minda Corp, which should do definitely well going forward.
That's the take coming in on Atul Auto right now. But let's focus on some of the laggards as well in trade, while Atul Auto, of course, is holding up very well. In fact, we had the management as well join in. Let's just hear out a soundbite from them.
The price have dropped by 70% if you compare lithium-ion cells. And India is on the verge of that disruption. So lot many gigawatt plants are announced. So maybe in 2-3 years, we see big companies investing and manufacturing lithium-ion cells in India.
The EV space is very competitive. There was a time when there was a large entry barrier for autos. Globally, 3-4 companies in every continent. India also 3-4 companies have dominated. It was Maruti, Mahindra & Mahindra, Tata Motors, and then a couple of foreign companies. But the space was limited and restricted because of investment and because of entry barriers. No new players were coming in. That is not the case with EVs. A lot of new entrants, a lot of startups are coming in. So isn't that a challenge?
It is a challenge. When you see, it's an evolution. Technology keeps changing every day. So it is not settled like IC engine. When you see IC engine, it's a 200-year-old technology. Where in EV, you see every day something coming new. So this will take some time where you will have some stable 4-5 big players. But right now, it's a green field for everyone.
Okay, so that's about Atul Auto, clearly talking about how the entire green energy transition is playing out and the big role that the company is expected to play in that. Before we let you go, Abhijit, any other stock-specific recommendation that you want to give, or any specific area within the mid-cap and small-cap which is coming up for as an investable idea?
Yeah, right. So in mid-cap space, I'm liking Aarti Pharmaceuticals. So basically, it's what they do is that they make like one of their products is that they make APIs for caffeine, and they have like they are one of the top three players in that, and the market cap right now is barely 4,000-5,000 crores for such a niche company with such a strong parental backing. I believe the valuations are very reasonable at this point. So Aarti Pharma and Aarti Surfactants will do really well going forward. So for an investment of 1 to 2 year horizon, both these companies can be looked in the mid cap space.
Okay, Abhijit, good to have you on the show. Thanks as always for taking the time out and speaking with us today.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.